and they didn't get the loss either. So
No,
it's a win-win. You get a point.
Could have been worse. Could have been better.
Zach Lynch for RMU finished with a goal and assist and put 5 shots on goal, finishing +1 for the game. Shane Starrett made 40 saves for the Falcons. That's a big number.
That is.
And Matt Sorator scored a goal, recorded an assist, and put 2 shots on goal, finishing +2 on the day. Big day for him for the Falcons.
Yeah. Yep.
The Colonials take on Niagara this weekend for a Friday and Saturday series in Niagara Falls, New York.
After their strong showing against Air Force this weekend, the Robert Morris men's hockey team received an honor that no other AHC team received: votes in the USCHO poll. Robert Morris received 24 points in this week's poll, good enough to tie them with future non-conference opponent Penn State. Every one of Robert Morris's future non-conference opponents received points in this week's poll, headlined by the 11th-ranked University of Michigan Wolverines.
Britta Moletz this week went down to the island to get a deeper look at the men's hockey team after their recent success against Air Force to kick off the season, and how can they respond to that performance in Niagara Falls this weekend.
The 2015 hockey season has now commenced, and the Robert Morris men's hockey team is looking to improve from last year's outstanding season and live up to high expectations set by many.
Right now it's just to get better every day, progressively get better every day, and take it from there. I don't think we have any goals yet. I think if we work hard, then we'll accomplish all the goals that we want. Obviously that's to win a title this season, and I want to put the best that I can personally.
We know we're that good. We know we can be ranked higher, and that's kind of a goal we're striving for, is to get into the top 20, top 15. So it's humbling. It's good to have, but we think we can do a little better.
The Colonials started off their season on a high note by earning 3 points this past weekend versus Air Force, and they hope to maintain that momentum throughout the rest of the season and into the playoffs.
We know we have a good team. We expect to win the league, obviously, again, and go to the NCAA tournament. Not just get there, but to win a few games and give ourselves a chance at a national championship.
I think that if you work hard and put a good effort in every day, then things will just come naturally. Obviously, I want to be one of the better defensemen in the league and hopefully get on one of the all-star teams, but I think that's just the counterpart of working hard every day.
Although the team lost power forward Cody Wido, who was a major offensive force, the Colonials still believe they have the skill and talent needed in order to have a successful season.
Well, we lost a couple guys last year on our power play, so it's pretty new this year. We're trying some new things, trying some new guys. So right now we're just trying to get comfortable, build a little bit of chemistry. But we know we have the firepower that can raise that percent and score a few more goals on the power play.
With all this experience and Coach Workman setting us up every game, I think that we should be able to be one of the top teams in the nation on the penalty kill again.
I'm Britta Millett, Colonial Sports Center.
The men's soccer team dropped their first game of their 2-game NEC Brooklyn road trip this weekend, losing to the LIU Brooklyn Blackbirds 1-0. Goalkeeper Brendan Alfieri made 6 saves for the Colonials, but was not able to stop a 73rd minute shot from LIU's Nawel Medina. The team of Nico Brett and Keane McIver led the way for Robert Morris offensively, putting 2 shots on goal each, but in what was a rarity this season, the Colonials were outshot by their opponents 12-8. Ian, did the Colonials fare any better against the other NEC Brooklyn team this weekend?
48 hours later, the Colonials had a total turnaround. They beat the Terriers of St. Francis Brooklyn 1-0.
All right.
Their performance didn't put them in the doghouse.
I like it.
In their second game in New York, the Colonials were able to come out with a 1-0 victory against the Terriers. Senior Nico Brett scored the only goal for the Colonials, as his goal turned out to be the game-winning goal. Keane McIver recorded the assist on the game-winning goal. Goalie Brendan Alfieri recorded the shutout, making 11 saves. Robert Morris's next game is against Farlow Dickinson this Friday at the NAC, also known as the North Athletic Complex here at RMU.
All right, coming up after the break, we jumped to the women's side of sports to see if they were able to go a combined 6-0. I can't jump right now. See if we can go a combined 6-0 on the weekend.
We also have a football analysis of their upcoming rival game, night game, against Duquesne.
Who do we got in studio for that, Ian?
I think it's Zach Lawfer, the beat
All
writer
right.
for RMU Century Media.
Nothing better than a first-hand source on it. We've got all that and more coming up after the break on Colonial Sports Center.
Sports in your life? Check out the premiere of Colonial Sports Network Live this Saturday. Colonial is off against Duquesne. Broadcast starts at 6 p.m. on www.necfrontrow.com.
These boys are my heroes. They come every week to spend time with my children.
At Robert Morris University, every student is expected to reach out to others.
They can teach them something no one else can.
Wisconsin.
They're role models to the children, and homework comes way before sports. Their grades have improved, and their lives are just a bit richer. What they do for my kids is truly wonderful.
Change someone's life. It changes yours forever. Robert Morris University.
I call them my lifeline.
People don't realize how quickly you can end up on the street. One thing happens in your life, medical bills you can't pay, lose your job, and that's it.
At Robert Morris University, every student is expected to reach out to others.
We went to DC to work with the homeless. They sell a newspaper called Street Sense. Thought I'd help.
But if you want to give more, you can.
This person came up to me and said, get a job. And for 2 hours, I felt what it was like to be homeless.
Good morning. $1 help on.
Some of the other students said, how can we change this? And I said, sometimes you can't change the world, but you may be able to change one person's world. My dream? Open a psych clinic for people on the street.
Change someone's life. It changes yours forever. Robert Morris University.
The Robert Morris women's hockey team built up some momentum with their first 2 wins last weekend at the 84 Lumber Arena. They look to keep the hot streak going this weekend in a 2-game stint with the RPI Engineers up in Troy, New York. Goaltender Jessica Dodds recorded the shutout for RMU, making 39 saves, and she was really the story of this game, as she was a puzzle RPI had no luck in solving. And just watch that highlight 38 more times, because that's all RPI saw. Moving into the second period, the Colonials are on offense now as Mackenzie Johnson gets a pass, misses it, steals the puck, and it just goes 5-hole on RPI's goalie. There was no hope for that goalie right there, and Johnson gets to celebrate, but not to be outdone. Captain Ashley Vesey goes off the wall, takes the open space, winds up, and boom! There might have been some flames coming off that puck because she just...
Call the firefighters.
Yeah, call the firefighters. She just fired that thing right in there. Goaltender Jessica Dodds recorded the shutout for RMU, making 39 saves. Mackenzie Johnson recorded the game winner for the Colonials, and Captain Ashley Vesey recorded the other Robert Morris tally. With assists for the Colonials were Michaela Lowater, Sarah Caranta, and Maeve Garvey.
Less than 24 hours from their shutout victory against RPI, RMU tried to build off their latest success and improve their winning streak to 4 games. Any predictions, Dan?
I'm going to go with that they won.
We'll see.
Let's check it out.
We're going to kick it off here in the first period as RPI gets on the board as Laura Hoodwood takes a shot past Jessica Dodds, and RPI looks strong coming out with less than a minute, but RMU says no because less than a minute later RMU controls the puck and Mackenzie Johnson fires it through traffic and gets RMU on the board. Things are tied at 1. Celebrate with your teammates. Now we're on a 5-on-3 power play, that being the Colonials, and Amber Rennie takes a nifty pass from her teammate and gets it past RPI's goalie, and we get more celebration. RMU takes 2-1 lead. Now on the same power play, RMU capitalizes as Kirsten Welsh scores the last goal as all the scoring happened in the first period, and as she gets some celebration in with her teammates. Dan, you're a smart guy because your prediction of a win was right.
Every once in a while.
The Colonials pulled out the 3-1 victory to complete the weekend sweep of RPI. Mackenzie Johnson scored a goal for the Colonials and added 3 shots on goal, finishing with +1 for the game. Amber Rennie scored the game-winning goal for the Colonials. Rennie also finished with 2 shots and finished -1 on the day. The Colonials will use a week off the ice to prepare for Syracuse on October 30th and 31st.
It's going to be a tough matchup for Syracuse.
Syracuse always plays them
But
tough.
you know what? RMU, they have some well-established players on this team. They have some well-established alumni as well. And a new professional sports league played its first ever games this weekend, and 2 of those Colonial alumni played a major part. The National Women's Hockey League drops the puck in 4 cities this year, and 2 Colonials are representing the school on the Buffalo Buttes roster. Goaltender alum Brianne McLaughlin became the first official player in Buttes history this July, and current RMU Director of Hockey Operations Kelly Stedman joined the team as a forward after beginning as a practice player for the team. The Buttes have played 2 games this season, and McLaughlin has a 3.0 goals against average. She has also started both games, and Stedman recorded the first goal in Butte history with a power play tally in their first game.
Goaltender Jessica Dobbs' performance the past 2 weeks did not go unnoticed this week, as Dobbs was tabbed the College Hockey America Goalie of the Week. This is Dodd's 10th weekly honor of her career. Dobbs recorded the shutout against RPI this past Friday, as we saw, helping her team skate the victory. The following day, Dobbs made 34 saves, which we saw as well, as the Colonials won 3-1 over their opponent, RPI. Dobbs is now 1 shutout short of tying Robert Morris alumnus and Olympic gold medalist Brianne McLaughlin.
The women's soccer team had their own 2-game road trip this weekend and opened it with a dramatic flourish, clipping the wings of the Wagner Seahawks 3-1. Cassie Raymond netted her team-leading 6th goal to open the scoring for Robert Morris, and in a tie game with under 10 minutes to go, sophomore Kayla Kelly headed in a Lauren Solkowski corner kick to give the Colonials the late-game winner. Malaya Qureshi tallied an insurance goal in the 84th minute, and goaltender Chelsea DeJager stopped 5 of the 6 shots she faced to get the win. The Colonials peppered the Wagner defense, setting a new season high for shots in a game with 22. 22. That is a lot for a soccer game.
The Colonials look to return to winning action as they took on conference leader St. Francis University this Sunday. The Colonials had not won a game against the Red Flash since 2002, but were finally able to pull off a victory. That's a long hiatus.
It is.
RMU got off to a hot start as they had a 3-0 lead before the Red Flash netted a goal. Aaron Ritzer got the Colonials on the board early, and Christy Hamilton and Lauren Solkowski followed with RMU goals. St. Francis scored 2 goals in the second half to pull within a goal, but RMU goalie Chelsea DeJager stayed strong and held off the first-place Red Flash. Romina Coons made 6 saves for St. Francis in net, but RMU's first 3 goals proved to be too much for St. Francis, and Robert Morris battles Central Connecticut State in their next game.
Heading from the soccer pitch over to the volleyball court, the Colonials were not able to leash the Bryant Bulldogs this past Saturday, falling 3-1. Arden Fisher and Kristen Thompson were bright spots for Robert Morris in the defeat. Fisher scored the dominant double-double, finishing with 15 kills and 19 digs, while Thompson added 10 kills of her own. Liz Campbell again led the way in assists with 35 in the match. Taylor Lord and April Kravaniak both finished with double-digit digs for Robert Morris.
Robert Morris traveled from Rhode Island to New Brighton, Connecticut Sunday for battle with the Blue Devils. The Colonials recovered from their loss the day before to defeat Central Connecticut State in 4 sets. CCSU took the first set 26-19, but RMU regrouped and took the next 3 sets to defeat the Blue Devils. Senior Kristen Thompson finished with 22 kills and 2 digs, and junior Arden Fisher, we've heard their names quite a bit so far,
yes,
finished with 12 kills and 19 digs. Another name we've heard, Liz Campbell, led the Colonials in assists with 55. That
is an unheard of number.
The only one to score assists in the game. RMU battles St. Francis University this Friday at the Soul Center. Now we are sending it over to Delaney Hassel, who is with beat writer Zach Laufer. Delaney, the floor is yours. Rather, the stage is yours.
Hey everybody, we do have a lot more coming up after the break, but real quick, Zach, 2 weeks ago the team did play Sacred Heart. Obviously, they did not fare well. How do you think that'll affect this weekend's game against Duquesne?
They got to work on holding on to the football. They committed 8 turnovers in their loss against Sacred Heart, And that's definitely something that they're going to have to fix in order to overcome Duquesne.
More on that later. Stay tuned.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
When I get all steamed up, then I shout.
Tip me over and pour me out. Oh. The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Cheers. Take time to be a dad today.
Oh, look, a redhead. Staring contest. You still got it.
I know. Come alive with the forest.
The dad was cute.
They were looking right at us.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. I'm Delaney Hassel, and joining me today is RMU Century Media sports editor Zach Lawford. Thank you so much for being on the show today, Zach.
It's my pleasure.
So they're coming off a bye week, the team,
Yep.
from last weekend, and they're playing their biggest rival, Duquesne.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think the team's going to fare?
They haven't fared very well in previous years against Duquesne. And coming off of the bye week, coming off of the very tough loss against Sacred Heart, it's going to be tough for the offense, especially to match what the Duquesne's defense is going to offer. Matt Barr, the freshman quarterback, he's coming back off of an injury. He missed the last couple games. That should bring some sort of stability to their offense, but even before he left with that injury, they were almost dead last in offensive efficiency in almost every offensive category, while their defense has been tops in the NEC. So it'll be interesting to see how the offense is able to come to the plate and see what they can bring. Hopefully they can not turn the ball over 8 times. That would help. I think it'll be a lot closer of a game than people might expect, and I think the defense will be able to keep them in it. And maybe with Barr being back, they'll be able to get a win against Duquesne under the lights.
What do you think happened during that Sacred Heart game? I mean, 8 turnovers.
The quarterbacks just couldn't handle the ball. They had 7 fumbles. Luckily, they recovered 3 of them. Four fumbles, but 1 on the running backs. But the 3 other fumbles were from the quarterbacks just mishandling snaps. And, Brumbaugh came into the game in the second half after Brown did not perform very well in the first half, and I think it showed that Brumbaugh was not ready for this game. He was basically throwing the ball all over the place, and it showed with his 3 interceptions. So I think, like I said, Barr being back into the game, it might bring a little more stability.
Definitely. So this is the second time in 4 years that they are playing Duquesne under the lights. Do you think that has any effect on how the players will play the game?
If anything, it should bring their adrenaline up because, you think of the big sporting events. They're all primetime 8 o'clock spots. So you got Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football, Thursday Night Football. All these games are primetime television for millions of viewers. And even though the majority of these players won't be getting to that level, I think they'll think that it's the best that they can do. And I think that'll raise their level of play. you can say that it's more like a Friday night football game for high schools, but I think that it should raise their level of play at least a little bit.
A lot of people say that college students like to go out to nighttime games better. Do you think if there's a bigger crowd that the team's going to really feed off that?
Yeah, I think so. I think you saw that in the homecoming game against Notre Dame College of Ohio. You got a lot of fans coming to that game showing their support for the RMU football team. And even before the season in their late night scrimmage, their midnight scrimmage, there were tons of fans at that game, and I did not expect that personally. So I think just the fact that it's late and fans are more apt to come to the game, I think, than if it's a noon or 3 o'clock start.
Definitely. So Matt Barr coming off that injury, he's probably going to be a key player in this game. Who do you think are going to be other important players for this big rival game?
I think we need to watch out for a couple besides Barr. You need to watch out for Ramses Owens because he's still listed as questionable for Saturday's game. He's their workhorse. He's their big bruising running back. And when he is in the game, he can really open up the defense, open up their offensive ability to play call and to execute on offense. So I think he's one to look out for if he plays and he gets a majority of the snaps of running back. You need to watch out for him, see what he can do. On the defensive side, their captain, Mike Stokovic. He's been their best defensive player this year, last year, you could argue, on that top-rated NEC defense. If he comes to play, usually, more often than not, the defense will rally around him. And when he's at the top of his game, usually so is the rest of the defense. And I think if he can step up, the rest of the defense will step up, and it'll be another top performance from the defense again.
So Duquesne has 3 running backs that average 50 yards per game. How can Robert Morris combat that?
I think it all starts up front in their front 7. They have really good defensive linemen and really good linebackers, Stokovic, Jake Tack, Ryan Lewis, Forrest Mason. So if they can control the line of scrimmage, they can force runs to the outside and let their speed guys on the outside, Drew Allen, and they can get to that space and they can stop the ball carrier from getting to the second level of the defense.
So the team has been with Banaszak for a year now since Joe Walton left. Mm-hmm. That kind of learning season, that transition season is over. How do you think that's going to affect their season this year?
I think you've already started to see that the players are more comfortable with his schemes, with his style of play, with his style of coaching. And, you know, rookie head coaches at least to a new program, sometimes they have difficulties getting their players ready to go. But Banaszak is a 3-time Super Bowl champion with the Steelers. There's nothing more that he could have done as a player to help him prepare to be a coach. And I think that all the years of experience he's had at other universities coaching is starting to show in the Colonials play.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much for coming on again, Zach. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Stick around for more on Colonial Sports Center.
Looking for these? You drive buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. adopt.
To Maddie, congrats on paying off all those student loans.
Finally, right?
How'd you manage that anyway?
I started tracking my spending, changed a couple of habits.
Wow, I'm kind of living paycheck to paycheck right now. I don't even know how I'm doing it.
Well, have you tried saving a little?
I want to, but where's that money gonna come from? Bill collectors, they're the worst. Am I right?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
Not home.
Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.com.
All right, well, we had one jam-packed weekend of games for you this week. We've got another full weekend coming up. Ian, what do we got going on Friday?
Men's soccer versus Farrell Dickinson at 3 p.m., followed by women's soccer at CCSU, Central Connecticut State University, at 5 p.m. Then we got men's hockey at Niagara Falls, New York, at 7:05.
Only one of those three teams stays in action on Saturday as men's hockey will play Niagara once again at 7:05 Saturday. The volleyball team will be in action against St. Francis at 3 p.m. and football plays their biggest rivalry game of the year as they take on Duquesne at 6.
Sunday, a day later, October 25th, men's soccer at LIU Brooklyn at noon. And then we got men's soccer versus Bryant as they continue to try to get as many wins as they can on the season, especially in the NEC. But Dan, you're not an analyst today, or an analyst. Football, what are your keys for the big rival game?
Oh yeah, that's right. When I used to come on the show, that was always the question, was what was my biggest key? Well, my biggest key for this weekend's game has to be, I say it every week, Robert Morris is facing a challenge on defense that they have not faced all season, as they're facing 3 running backs who average 50 yards a game. That's something that most teams don't do. Most teams follow the feature back role or just 2 running backs, but this team has 3. They're all right at 50 yards. Top of my head, I think it was 52.6, 51.4. They were all within 3 yards of that 50 mark. So they're going to be able to experiment with all 3 of those types of running backs and how they like to run until they find the weakness in the Robert Morris defense. So Robert Morris needs to come out, stand strong, and be prepared for all 3 of them, because if not, they're going to be in trouble against a high-powered Duquesne offense.
And then, like, game aspect. Dan, this is your first show.
I thought it went pretty well.
Pretty well?
That's right. Well, it's all right. We'll get a chance to see if I do any better next week, as we have much more sports and Robert Morris news coming for you on Colonial Sports Center next Thursday.